Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5, Episode 13. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys. So let's start with the very difficult conversation that Maurice and Marcel had together about Kimmy's condition. Y'all, I'm telling you, every time these scenes come up, they are so hard to watch. It's just really, really sad. It's just really, really sad. So I guess Marceau and Letitia are back from Destin. So he's out in the backyard working, and Maurice comes and tells him that he needs to sit down. They need to have a serious conversation. So apparently Letitia had told Marceau a little bit about Kimmy's, breast cancer diagnosis, but I guess didn't go into full detail. Or maybe she did, and they're just doing this for, just so that we can have the content on the show. But Maurice tells them that she has breast cancer and that it is extremely aggressive. And, basically he's afraid. He's scared because, this is him looking at his mortality, looking at the woman that he loves. Is about to go through something that she may not make it out on the other side of, and just a really sad, very difficult conversation, just really awful. Maurice is telling them how he's telling the friends and, people for Kimmy, kind of acting as a buffer so she doesn't have to just keep on telling the story over and over and over. And even though he is really trying to be strong for her, and he does stay strong for her when he's in front of her, he's not really that strong. As a matter of fact, he feels very weak inside because, we've already had this conversation. He's like most men, they try to find solutions to shit. And if they can't, then they don't really know what to do. And in this situation, of course, we know nobody can control it. You really have to rely on God. And hope that, he is the one that takes that out of your body. So just it's sad, you guys. It's really, really sad. And when Marcel told him that, she's trying to be strong for him, he's trying to be strong for her, maybe it comes to a point where everybody just needs to have a weak point where they both can cry on each other's shoulder. They can both tell each other exactly how they feel, and not just always putting forth this effort of just being strong because you're just not always that way, So he tells him, you just need to be authentic with her. You need to let her know, if you're afraid, you need to tell her that. If you feel a day when you feel like you're not at 100, can't be your best for her, then you tell her that as well. But yes, that cancer is hard on everybody, hard on the family. It's hard on the person, definitely. Number one, the person that is experiencing it, but it is also hard on the family, and the friends and everybody else who really have to watch you go through this and just absolutely nothing they can do. So many of us have been here. And so I understand how he feels. And yeah, you guys, just real sad, just real sad. And like I told you guys last week, I imagine anytime, when it comes to Kimmy and Maurice, when they're on the screen, it's probably going to be some tears. At the end, when they hugged each other, and Maurice was like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And he was crying on Marceau's shoulder. I was just like, okay, I can't take it. I can't take it no more. Now Louis has the zoomies. You guys, if you guys saw my Instagram, Blue had the zoomies yesterday. Louis, cut it out. Blue is in his kennel chilling. But when they started crying at the end, I'm telling you guys, I was just like crying, like I just cannot. It's very hard to see men, genuinely crying and trying to be strong and hugging each other and holding. It's just, when you're not used to seeing them in that way, it's just a lot. So, you know, every week we're just going to continue to pray for Kimmy, for her to come through, you know, on the other side of this in remission, cancer-free. All right, you guys, now let's jump back over to Destin. So Miss Vanessa's finally made it in. So Mel is happy that all of the family is there. You know, all the people that she wants to be there is there. And they can continue on with their vacationing. Miss Vanessa asked her how everything has been. And, you know, Mel's just like,
So far, so good. You know, whenever something happens and I just feel some kind of way, I just go off to myself, you know, and try to get my energy back right.
So she's trying to remain in that positive space. I'm sure Letitia and Marceau was something that knocked her off her square. One second. Anyway, I don't know where I left off at, you guys. But anyway, Miss Vanessa was just like, has Marceau been tripping at all? And Mel was like,
No. Well, you know, he did invite Letitia and Marceau. And, you know, I don't even know how he thought that he could invite somebody, considering he ain't paid for nothing. But
other than that, everything went well. Well, how are you and Letitia doing? And Mel says,
well, you know, I can be cordial, but I'm not looking to be friends, you know, with anybody.
And I don't blame Mel. I would have felt a way about that too. At the same time, Martell is talking to his mom. And so their conversation is different. You know, his mom is just like, this is the best time that I ever had in my life. Okay, she is going to cherish this moment together, you know, all of them being together, because she's wasn't even sure that this was going to happen. You know, his mom was like, you know, I was heartbroken. And he was like, really? Why was you heartbroken, mama? Well, because she was like, you guys are the only family that I have, you know, and when you guys broke up, like, that really did break her heart, because the family as she knew it was no more. So yeah, it made her very sad. So she's like, I'm going to cherish this. Like, I'm keeping all of this in my heart. You know, we all out on vacation together, because she never thought it would happen again. And Martell probably didn't think that either. You know, it's always the mama, you know, it's always about family. It's all you got. You got to make sure, you know, you make the best of it, because it's the family. That's what's important. Like, that's always what Martell's mom says. Anyway, Martell tells her that he's hoping that as long as they can stay, you know, on the same page and keep everything positive and all of that, that they'll be able to take more trips in the future. Okay, not sure how that's going to look, you know, considering it's only natural. He's probably going to be in a serious relationship. Mel will probably be in a serious relationship. Both of them may get married, you know, remarried, and then they'll try to have to figure out what their family looks like then and how they move forward, you know, trying to do these trips. And realistically, they probably won't be doing trips together like that, okay? But I guess that is the ideal way for both of them, is for everybody to be able to get together and go on vacation. Yeah, holidays, you know, Christmas, and, you know, we can do that, but I don't know about vacations, okay? But anyway, so far the trip has been good. So they're going to take this yacht trip. You know, Mel has booked a yacht for the family to ride out on the water, and apparently the kids were really excited about it. You know, so everybody gets all dressed up, gussied up. Everybody is in their white except for Mel. Mel has on her big green hat, floppy and everything. They're walking on the deck to the boat. And, you know, Mel's just like,
oh my God, look at this. This where it's at. Look at Sugar Mama. This is so nice. Oh my God, this is a yacht. Ooh, look.
So they was really impressed with the yacht. It was very nice. And Mel said that she wanted to make sure that the kids, you know, their memory of this was, you know, their first yacht ride was when they were all together in Destin. So, okay. So everybody's impressed. The yacht is going to close the trip out. But the captain of the boat comes and tells her that the weather is bad. So they not really ready to push out just yet. You know, he shows her the thunderclouds or whatever. If you guys have ever been to Destin, you know them damn storms can blow in so quickly, but they also blow out pretty quickly as well. So you just got to kind of just sit and wait. So Mel explains to the kids that they're not about to go out on the water right now, even though she was like, we gotta definitely go, even if it's postponed, but she doesn't want to disappoint the kids because, like I said, they have been excited all week about it, okay? So, like I said, eventually the storm passes, the sky is clear, bright sunny, sky, so they get out on the water. Mel asked Martell, have you ever been on a yacht before? And he was like, never. And she was just like, aw, well, welcome. I was just like, and he was just like, girl, stop it. It's not that I couldn't go on a yacht. I just haven't been on one, but it's not like, you offering this up to me as if I can't afford to get on somebody's damn yacht, But anyway, these are kind of the little things that I will say that Mel almost felt like she was purposely being, what I will say is I think that Mel, with all of her moving forward and moving to a certain place in her life and not accepting these things, and I think that Mel still has a lot of stuff to work through, and that's fine. It's only been a couple of years. You have a marriage for 12 years or however long they were together. Nobody really expects her to just be 100% over everything. They had a marriage that didn't just fall apart, but fell apart in front of the whole world. So this yacht trip really made me see that Mel is not quite where she even tells herself that she's at, okay? That she still has some things to work through. And she's not wrong for feeling the way that she feels. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that she's not quite as over it yet as she says that she is. Because even though this exchange between her and Martell was minor, as the boat ride kept going, we saw that, maybe we still need to work through some things. And another example of that is when they were on the boat, and the kids were just kind of playing around and singing and everything. And she was just like, oh, what, Sugar Mom, sing that song. Martell, play your song. And Martell was just like, why are you even bringing that up? Okay? You definitely know that that's a sore spot. And, even though she said that she was just playing, those are the things that, when you are jabbing at your significant other, or, they were together long enough for them to know what exactly is going to upset the other person. So when she said that, talking about the song that she had, he was just like, that you already know that that's a point of contention. You trying to have the kids sing it. That was the big argument that they had when they were in Vegas, about the kids knowing the words to the song and all of that. So that was when I was just like, okay, Mel, are we going to be just like keeping it safe zone and not trying to get too deep in anything? Or are we about to have some confrontations on this yacht? Like, what? What are we about to do here? Yes, we're about to have some confrontations on the yacht. And Martell just keeps on saying, I'm just trying to make sure that we stay in a good place, for the kids. But if you're going to have the kids singing a song about their father, well, that's not a good jump off start to this yacht ride. Okay? So we kind of have set the tone, right? We get off to sea and Mel is sitting on the back of the boat or whatever with Martell and Miss Vanessa. And Miss Vanessa was just like, it's so nice for us all to be together again. And, Martell was just like, yep, it is really nice. It's been some time. It took time for him too, he was like, I really did go through some things too, just saying a lot of things, doing a lot of things, he was just really, really angry. But so he had to kind of work through some things himself and, also get to a point where, he didn't want to fight anymore and all of that. The funny thing about it is with Martell is I think that Martell genuinely, the best way that he can anyway, on this trip, wanted to have that conversation with Mel so that they can move forward positively And when you have, I think that people don't expect Martell to have feelings because he was the one who fucked up the marriage. Okay, ultimately. All right. But he is still allowed to have his feelings, even though you are the reason why. But he still, I think that people just are so upset with Martell all the time that nobody takes the time to realize that, yeah, well, he can mourn the fact that he fucked up his own marriage, and that doesn't mean that we feeling sorry for him or that, we are, you can forgive somebody for what they did. That don't mean that I'm supposed to take you back. Okay. That don't mean that what happened didn't happen. That doesn't erase the past or anything. But Martell, anytime he says anything about how he felt, it just automatically makes us feel like, well, nigga, you the one fucked up the marriage. And I think that him trying to get Mel and anybody else to understand that is probably not going to do him any good. Those are the things that he has to work through on his own with a counselor or something, because you really preaching to the wrong audience. Like, people don't want to hear about what you went through when you're the reason why everybody went through what they went through, So him telling them, that he went through some things too, that's, I'm sure, what made Mel just build up that wall. Okay, like, oh, nigga, you went through some things, huh? Because Mel was just like, so, he was saying that he's gotten past it. And she was just like, so you really think you've gotten past some things? Okay, give me some examples of why. And he says, well, you have been throwing a lot of jabs at me this whole trip, and I've just overlooked all of them. And she was just like, who, me? Really? On this trip? Yeah, Mel, you have. They showed the clips of different things that she said. Nothing too major, but little things that she knows that will probably trigger him, otherwise into an argument. So, he was just like, I've been ignoring what you're saying. So I am healing from the divorce. I don't think neither one of them are healed completely from the divorce. But, Mel was just sort of like, that was like her whole feeling, that whole conversation. And I think that even her mom saw that she was about to go off, that this conversation was veering to the left and she was about to go off the rails. And so the mom was just like, well, the only thing that's really important is family. Okay. While they're out there sitting, here comes Mama Holt. Okay. Oh my God. Like, I had so much fun. I got my drink, and I'm sitting. Bless Mama heart. She really, really is loving this whole thing. It feels like old times for her. So Mel, remember, she just told Miss Vanessa a few days before they went on the trip that she wasn't going to get into anything any deep. She just wants to keep everything surface and nice and, not try to go there. But when she asked Mama Holt, like, how did you guys, handle communication and when things happen, I was just like, Mel, you have to realize that Mama Holt is from an entirely different time and era. Okay, she was a single mom. She was raising her kids the best way that she could. Okay, Mama Holt did exactly what all of the other mamas did at that time. All right, as far as disciplining her child, nobody is saying that what she did was good. It's just what she knew to do at the time. Okay, she didn't allow for whining and crying, I guess, when Martell was getting bullied and all of that. And Mel was trying to explain to her that, yeah, he should be able to come to you. And she was just like, I was listening to that conversation and I was just like, yes, now we obviously know that we're a product of our childhood, and a lot of shit has happened to a lot of us as children. We see what the mistakes that our parents made in raising us, and we try to not make those same mistakes as we raise our own children. That's just sort of how it goes, but her telling Mama Holt at Mama Holt's big grown age now that, what she what she was doing basically was wrong. Mama Holt is not changing. This is the lady that she is. She ain't got to be in her 60s to just be, you know, for her to now be deciding to change. The way that she thinks is the way that she thinks. The way that she raised her kids, good, bad, or indifferent, is what she did. And that's that. But, you know, Mel was just like, well, now it makes sense why Martell is the way he is. Well, everybody is, you know, I'm sure that we can all think of some ways that our parents could have did things better, you know? So, but her having that conversation, that could have really blown up into something way bigger and a whole lot messier. Martell kept on saying that he wants to be positive and he moves forward, and Mel keeps on wanting to stand her ground like,
well, I'm just letting you know that everything, as long as you respect the boundaries and you,
like, we already know, as long as the people don't say some shit to piss you off, basically, then everything is going to be fine. You said it 100,000 times, Mel. We got it. I just wish that Mel wouldn't have let herself, the whole thing is like, okay, so you invite him on this trip, you say that you're gonna keep everything surface and not nothing deep and not try to get into any arguments, but you allowed yourself to still do it. You was antagonizing him, okay? And so when she get up and walks off, you know, and he was just like, I just have to ignore everything that Mel says. And she kind of laughs because I think she knows, you guys, their thing is so complex. You can be on one person's side one day and the next person's side the other day, because you know, from the outside looking in, you can kind of see where both of them have like their issues and flaws. And it's easy to try to ignore Mel's flaws because everybody is just so irritated and aggravated with Martell and the mistakes that he made. But Mel's not perfect either, okay? So yeah, that yacht ride, I was just like, oh, this is a lot. But honey, wait a minute, that ain't nothing compared to later on that evening. So once they docked from the boat, Martell has booked a restaurant for them to all go and eat at. But he has made the decision to have the family sit at one table, you know, the grandmothers and the kids, and then Mel and Martell sit at a table by themselves. And, you know, Mel was just like, wait a minute, what? Like, why aren't we sitting with the rest of the family? Well, Martell wants to have this heart-to-heart with Mel, okay? But Mel don't want to do that. Now, see, the funny thing is Mel wants to kind of confront the you know, him and his mom about some of the ways that he was raised and all that about the past, but she doesn't want to talk about their marriage past. So it's just sort of like, okay, certain things she wants to talk about, other things she doesn't want to talk about. And you guys, I'm not, like, that conversation at that table, you could just see it going left, you know, because Martell was trying to get down to the bottom of what he was talking to Marceau about, which was he wants to know what he did wrong in the relationship in order for her to check out and just be done with everything. And then, you know, for him, in his mind, causing him to go cheat, okay? Realistically, that is not up to Mel to try to help Martell through, because Mel has moved on from the marriage. They are completely divorced. I'm not working on anything with you, so I don't have to help you figure out how to be a better person for the next marriage, you know? So even though he wants to say, like, you know, what did I do to help you? I mean, to make everything go so bad, Mel doesn't want to. That's not Mel's responsibility. You're going to have now, since everything is over, you're going to have to go talk to a counselor or something. Go talk to Dr. Frantic. And so Mel was still sort of like, I hope that this is not no way of him trying to reconcile, or he thinks that, you know, anything is about to happen and it was about to just really go off the rails. Then finally Martell was just like, okay, let me just try to bring it back in. So he asked her, how's the trip been for her so far? And she was just like, it's been good, you know, even though Letitia and Marceau came and she ain't really feeling them like that, you know, she's not ever going to be friends with them. Those are her enemies. And Martell was just like, why are they your enemies? And she was just like, well, you should know you was the ringleader. Okay, that's when I was like, oh, this is really about to go left. And he was just like, how was I the ringleader, And she was just like, you aligned with them and you guys tried to do whatever you could do to make me look bad and, all of that. So you should know. And he was just like, wait a minute, stop, Mel, just be quiet, just stop. And of course, I'm sure that those are words that is going to raise her hackles, because now that she's divorced, she doesn't have to live. I mean, you ain't never got to be told to shut up by your spouse, or even if you together or not, But now she really ain't got to even entertain that kind of talk. So she was just sort of like, don't try to control me. Don't tell me to be quiet. I'm going to say whatever is on my mind. And so then it was just like, okay, this is about to go bad. And so Martell finally does try to just hurry up and get out what he was trying to say, which was basically that he apologizes. This is the first time that I think that Martell truly, I felt like he was being genuine. Okay, he was like, I realize that I'm the one that completely ruined our marriage. I'm 100% responsible. I'm, sorry for what I did to you, what I did to our family, what I did to our kids, what I put everybody through. He actually said all of the words, okay? Took responsibility, accountability for what he's done and all. And Mel did smile, okay? And I think that's probably something that she needed to hear, even if maybe she wouldn't admit it then. But I think that those kind of things do help people when they're trying to heal from something that has been so traumatic, So she says she receives it. And Mel says, that the family has been through a lot. Her and Martell got married. They've grown a lot, been through a lot of things together, and so she's hoping that they can get back to a place where they were friends, because they were friends at one time. The passion is gone. The love and the intimacy and all of that is gone. But as far as being friends again, she hopes that they could get back to that part. So even though it threatened to just really be a mess there, they finally was kind of able to get through. So I felt like maybe we had turned a page, child. The next morning, she's out on the deck or whatever, and Martell comes out. He got his shirt all undone. His jacket is unbuttoned all the way down. Unzipped all the way down here. She's just like, where you going looking like that? Where's your shirt? And he was just like, oh, I'm about to go. This is my traveling clothes, okay? But when he went out there, I just feel like we have to still kind of walk on eggshells with Mel. Not sure if she's going to always. You just don't really know what you're about to get, okay? Because at one minute she's like nice, and then the next minute she's just sort of like, oh no, nigga, you not fixing to tell me, you not fixing to do this, you not fixing to do that. So I was just like, I don't even know what Mel we about to get when he goes out here on this deck. Mel tells him basically that if we can stop talking about the past, because Mel is not interested or concerned about the past anymore, then they can move forward. And like I said, Martell feels like the only way that he can really move forward and be a better person is to understand where the mistakes are that he made for them to end up where they are, okay? And like I said, that is not something that Mel is going to be able to help you through. You're going to have to sit down with a good counselor, okay, Dr. Frantic? You have to sit down with Dr. Frantic, who I know is chomping at the bit as he watches these episodes, like, let me at him. But yeah, you're going to have to sit down with somebody else and, work all that out. That's not Mel's responsibility any longer. I almost feel like Mel felt like as the trip went on that Martell was trying to do all of this for the cameras. I don't know if she still trusted that he was being genuine and that he really meant what he said, okay? Because she still was sort of like, as long as you do that, then everything is going to be fine. But I just felt like she felt like, same old Martell. He got y'all fooled. He don't have me fooled. And I guess we could say that maybe there was some merit to that, because shortly after this trip, we know that he took her to court, trying to get full custody of the kids. Okay. So it's kind of one of those one step forward, two steps backwards kind of things. Like the minute you think that their relationship has gone, you know, like they're moving forward, then there's always something that kind of pulls them back. And I would imagine for couples that are going through divorce and all that, that it does take time, that you do have to work through these things, you know, when there's kids involved, little kids, I should say. It is a bunch of give and take, a bunch of steps forward and steps back and setbacks and, you know, getting along and not getting along and all of that. But I still feel like Mel probably still has some things to work through. And that's fine. Like, it's okay that she still has to work. I think that she's so intent on making everybody believe that, you know, she's over it and she's gotten over it. But I think that this trip also shows that maybe there's some things that she's still not quite worked through. Okay. But anyway, everybody, you know, gets their clothes together, packed up, and they're leaving. And apparently it looks like the kids must have went home with Martell and his mom. So, you know, she, you know, tells everybody bye, shakes Martell's hand bye, gives Mama Holt a hug bye, gives Miss Vanessa a hug bye, you know, and she's just still at the house. I'm assuming she's leaving after everybody else leaves. But, yeah, you guys, it was actually I think a good trip for them. It was something that I think it was good for the kids. And I think that Martell probably has, what's the word that I want to use? I think that Martell is, I think at that time, Martell was trying to be better, okay? But Martell still has a lot of shit. Now, Martell got a whole shitload of things that he has to work through. All right. Some of the things are related to the marriage, and some of the things are just personality-wise. Martell seems to be a bit of a narcissist. Martell seems to have certain qualities that aren't going to really change. Okay. So there's that, child. I don't know. I'm not on anybody's side right now. I think that their marriage there's a lot of things and issues and complexities that they have to work through. I think that they were heading in the right direction with this trip, but, you know, child, I don't know. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. When's the reunion? All right, you guys, let me get off of here. Go let Louis back out so he can live his best life for a while. And then I will get this edited and up to you. Okay, happy Sunday, folks. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do is going to be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.